Hi there, it's me, Carlette from Project CB again. So, we've just been at a praise and worship session there in Three Rivers, and we tried to get that live stream or the feed going. We've done that, but we had a little bit of problems, so I do apologize for that. But we've got the president speaking yet again. So we've got our family meeting back. So a very warm welcome to you all. We're back, Project CB, and our president Cyril Ramaphosa, who is just he is going to address us yet again. So it's been weird because we had this thing of having a family meeting now 3 times. This is the 3rd time this month. Oh, this week. Never mind month. That we in a hot spot. So it's bad. It's hard that we back here again. So we are waiting for the president. I am Carlette Bodenhorst, and as I said, we just came out of a very interesting worship session. Very nice. We tried to broadcast that live for you. We had a sort of little bit of technical difficulties, but we here and we're back in the studio to know that we are doing the president speaking again the 3rd time this week. Come now, we've seen him. It's just bad. What do you say concerning the unrests and things that's just going on? So I am Carlette, and you are tuned into Project CB on a Friday evening. Can you believe it? It's that time of the the week that you just want to relax, and suddenly you find yourself in a tight spot yet again. Again, we are here waiting for a nation address from our president Cyril Ramaphosa. I thought I will speak to you when he speaks again, like in a week's time. And lo and behold, here we are. And we're going to hear what our president's going to say tonight. So if you've just tuned in, you are tuned into Project CB. And I am Carlette. So what we've done is we've broadcast live from Three Rivers. And we've tried to capture an awesome experience there. That people, the church, not the specific church, but the church, the body of Christ, just came together. That was brilliant. So coming out of that, we are right into our nation address yet again. I want to know from you, how are you feeling concerning the looting and the violence? Just pop it in there at the live chat for me. Let me know what you're thinking. Thank you so much for tuning right in again. And you know what? We will make this. We'll have to make this. We don't have other choice but to make this. It's one of those things. We just have to do this. So, what is your thoughts, your ideas? I mean, I've just came out of a worship session right into politics yet again. So here we are back. with a family meeting on a Friday night. This is like torture, actually. To think about it, your dad speaks to you on a Sunday, he speaks to you on a Monday, and then on a Friday, and so it's quite interesting. For that. So, but what do you think he's gonna say concerning the unrest? Sure, people, these towns that went through this like crazy. It was hardships, and it was bad. Malls were destroyed, and people just took. It was an act of greed. It wasn't even a sense of poverty. And this is not us. Like the president said on Monday, it's not us as a South African nation. And yet again, here we are. Back on a family gathering meeting again. So please leave your comments at the live chat. If you haven't subscribed just yet, please do that too. I would love to hear from you. Love to see. I think I'm standing on 311 subs. And just make it. Can we just make it a crazy number? Like 400 for now or something like that. Just a crazy number just to get this momentum going. Unfortunately or fortunately, it's not an unfortunate event, it's a fortunate event. Here in Meyerton, where I'm staying, there wasn't looting. The community stood together. They said, we don't want this, and it never happened. So if you are tuned into Project CB, did your country went through, or your town, was it one of the unfortunate ones, or was it a fortunate one? Did the community stand together? Just throw in a chat there, comment in the live chat, and if you haven't subscribed, please do that too. So I'm just thinking quickly, just out loud, as we are counting down the minutes to our president's speech or address. What would you, as if you were the president, just think for a moment, if you were the president, what would you have done in a situation that we're currently in? What would you have done in our situation if you were the president? I know people say that he needed to be seen more, but let's be honest. We've got only one president, and if you've got a stampede of people, you don't want your president to be in those chaotic moments. So, guys, when you utter something, please just be a little bit careful to what you have to say and how you go about with stuff. So, sorry for that. So, what would you do if you were the president? Just give us something. I would give. I don't even know. I'm asking that question for myself again. So, it is Project CB. I am Carlet. And what are you up to today? What do you have to say to yourself? If you were the president, what would you have done differently as well? So let me hear from you. I would love to hear what you have to say. It's always nice to have some extra subscribers, so please do subscribe if you haven't subscribed just yet to Project CB. We are currently right here in the studio waiting for our president to speak. It's almost that time again where we stand together as a nation in family meetings, but I'm proud to be a South African. I'm really proud to be a South African, but let me explain to you why. And the only reason for that is that we as a nation, a South African nation, when we are faced with difficulties, when we are pushed into a corner, do you know what we do? We rise. And that's an amazing feeling to know that we are rising yet again. We have fallen down on our knees. We're flat on our knees, and here we are. We are rising. We are going to be okay. You are going to be okay. I'm telling you, I promise you that through all of this, you will be okay. It's always hard when you go through it, but as you go through it, know that the Lord is at your side and we'll make it. We'll definitely get through and make it. So we've got about 5 minutes to go before our president speak to the nation. He's addressing the nation in about 5.5 minutes from now. It's still cold. We in ruins. Everything is. It seems as if it's bad, but let's just take a cup of coffee and breathe. Everything will be okay. So, what have you been up to? Let's quickly get that going. What have you been up to this week? Were you also like I that just my face was in the in the media all the time, in the sense of watching the news, what's happening here, what's happening there. And it's quite traumatic when you see that your life is and your country, your beloved country, is yet again in ruins and in pain, and she's crying out. She's just crying out yet again, but knowing that everything will prevail. We will be okay. It's one of those little things in life, knowing that we will be okay. So with that in mind, we are waiting. 4 minutes to go until we hear from our president. And it's this time of the night that we just think and acknowledge that everything will be okay. It will be okay. You can just I'm saying that out loud because sometimes you need to hear it out loud, that everything will be okay. At least the president, let's be a little bit honest concerning this. At least we're not talking about the COVID. You know how sick and tired I am to hear the word COVID, and so at least the big news is not COVID this time around, but you know what? It is still not nice being in this situation. Let's be true to ourselves. Let's be honest. It is not nice. Oh my dear, oh my head. See, what what is happening with oh, okay, there we go, we're back on air. Just thought that there was something weird going on there. So quickly say hi if you haven't said hi in the live chat box again. We've got 2 minutes to go. I am Carlette from Project CB. We are live, and we're waiting for our president to speak. It's gonna be an interesting one, man. I don't want to be the president in his shoes. It was we heard him speak this morning, I think. Yeah, this morning we had a little bit of a thing going on, and he was in KwaZulu Natal. He spoke to us, the media, and there was quite a few things that came out there. So yeah, I'm curious to hear what he has to say today. So we've got about a minute to go. Then I don't need to entertain you anymore, but I do love to entertain you. You need to know that. It's always nice hearing from you. It's always nice seeing you guys. So don't go anywhere, because the president's going to speak in about less than a minute. And if you haven't subscribed to Project CB, please do so. It would be very nice if you just hit that subscription button quickly before we hit the main thing of the president's address to us tonight. So please get yourself ready. It's this time of the night. We're hearing from our president yet again. Hopefully it will be some good news tonight. I don't know about you, but I'm like so tired of bad news. I'm tired of the corona. I'm tired of looters. And I'm just tired overall of bad news. So what was lekker is that I am a Christian, and we've just worshipped tonight there in Three Rivers. That was so fun when we could pray healing over our nation, and the hospitals, and so that was a very nice experience as well. But what we are waiting now for our other experience would be our president speaking, and he will come up in a moment. Let's just get him going as well. I'm catching the live stream from the ENCA feed, so just a shout out to them as well. They are giving us, or I'm taking the live stream as well. So we are live streaming with the ENCA at the moment. And it is Project CB. We are waiting for the president. He needs to come now and speak to us and let us hear what our president's got to say. There was a lot of things going on in the media. There was a lot of things that has been said and done, and there was an apology which was nice from the president today, saying, I'm sorry that I've just did this late, I've reacted late. And you know what, Mr. President, it's fine. It's fine and not fine, because we know there's the pandemic that's on your doorstep. There's the fractions in the ANC that's going on, and you just need to keep everything afloat. And it's hard, sure. And we definitely are praying for you, Mr. President. May the Lord just give you wisdom and give you strength, because some days are better than others and some are not. And I know that you need a lot of wisdom and a lot of prayer. So rather than saying negative things concerning our president and why he wasn't reacting quicker and why everything is happening, let's just leave our whys and let's pray for our president. he needs it more than our negative report as well. So I am Carlette from Project CB. I'm taking the feed from the ENCA news team. We are waiting for our president to give us the address to the nation tonight concerning the unrest. Hopefully he will have a little bit of good news. But what is not so good is that there was a lot of deaths concerning these looters that came about. So when we had deaths and crime, it's you know that you're not in a good spot, and that's probably the reason why our president is speaking to us, because he realized that South Africa is not in a good place, and the economy is into floating somewhere else, and not even the drain. His people were misbehaving, stealing, and so to the truth be told, things are not going right. But knowing that if we pray for our president and our country, our prayers will be heard and it will be okay. So I am Carlette from Project CB, waiting for our ENCA team. Please subscribe if you haven't subscribed just yet. Leave a little comment in the live chat. That would be incredibly nice. And come now, Mr. President, you should not be late tonight. Not tonight. Any other night, but not tonight. So that's concerning our president's address. We know that we are hopeful. You know what? We are hopeful. So come now, Mr. President, give us your speech. We all are waiting. And hopefully, no, why is he late tonight? Yet again, maybe. Yes, he traveled a lot today. He was in KZN. Then he came back to Pretoria. So he had a quite a difficult and hard day. So if he's late a little bit, we can give him grace because he traveled. And he's not young anymore, you know. He's not a young Springbok. He's older in years, and it takes sometimes just a little bit longer. So let us have grace for him too. So we are waiting yet again. Like I say, if you haven't subscribed to Project CB, please just do so. That would be nice. So our president's going to speak to us about the nation and the South Africa unrest. It's not war, guys. Don't think it's war. It's nothing to weigh against war. And it's just an unrest. It's just people misbehaving and being some little bit of hooligans. Yes, they are looting hooligans, and it's not us. It's not us as South Africans dealing with such a behavior. So we'll have to see what our president's got to say when he comes up. He's late yet again, but let's say it's really, really understandable that he is a little bit late. And it's okay. He had a very difficult time as well. It was a busy, very busy day. So I don't know even when how our president eats lunch. And I think here we go. Yes, Mr. President.
Are you still loading? Oh, just give it to me. Just give it to me. I need to use it to support. All right. Yeah, it looks good. It looks good. We can roll? Okay. So the generals will be on both sides. My fellow South Africans, good evening, goeienaand, sanbonani, dumelang, riperile, dimadekwan. Earlier today, I visited the areas of KwaMashu, Springfield, Mobeni, and Umlazi in KwaZulu-Natal. These areas have been sites of unprecedented violence and destruction over the past few days. The streets and buildings I saw bear the scars of looting and mayhem. But what is most devastating is the toll that these events of violence have taken on people's lives, on their livelihoods, and sense of security. The human toll will take much longer to repair. It is clear now that the events of the past week were nothing less than a deliberate, a coordinated, and a well-planned attack on our democracy. The constitutional order of our country is under threat. The current instability and ongoing incitement to violence constitutes a direct contravention of the Constitution of our country and the rule of law. These actions are intended to cripple the economy of our country, to cause social instability, and severely weaken or even dislodge the democratic state. Using the pretext of a political grievance, those behind these acts have sought to provoke a popular insurrection amongst our people. They have sought to exploit the social and economic conditions under which many South Africans live, conditions of poverty, of inequality and unemployment that have worsened since the onset of coronavirus pandemic, and to provoke ordinary citizens and criminal networks to engage in opportunistic acts of wanton looting. The ensuing chaos is used as a smokescreen to carry out economic sabotage through targeted attacks on trucks, on factories, warehouses, and other infrastructure necessary for the functioning of our economy and the provision of services to our people. Through social media, through fake news and misinformation, they have sought to inflame racial tensions and violence. Worst of all, these instigators have sought to manipulate the poor and vulnerable for their own benefit. Yet, despite the widespread destruction, this attempted insurrection has failed. It has failed to gain popular support amongst our people. It has failed because of the efforts of our security forces, and it has failed because South Africans have rejected it and have stood up in defense of our hard-won democracy. I saw the determination of our people in defending their democracy in action as I walked through the streets of eThekwini. And many of us will have seen how many of our people across various parts of the country have done exactly the same. I saw people cleaning up the streets, rebuilding their lives, standing together, united in their diversity, young and old, men and women, black and white. They were grateful for the support of the security forces and made it clear to me that they stand united and will work with the government to restore stability. My fellow South Africans, since the outbreak of this violence, at least 212 people have lost their lives. Of these, 180 have been in KwaZulu-Natal and 32 in Gauteng. The South African Police Service, led by Commissioner Stolle here, is investigating 131 cases of murder and have opened inquest dockets in respect of 81 deaths. Our thoughts and prayers are with the families of those who have lost their lives to this senseless violence. This is a pain that no family and no community should have to endure. Since the unrest started, the National Joint Operational and Intelligence Structure has recorded over 118 incidents of public violence, arson, looting, and other unrest-related instances. These incidents were concentrated in Gauteng and KwaZulu-Natal. Since the height of the unrest on Monday and Tuesday, there's been a sharp decline in the number of incidents, and calm has returned and is returning to most of these areas. Over 2,550 people have been arrested in connection with the unrest, and special arrangements are being put in place to ensure that these cases are prioritized. The destruction of property and theft of goods has cost businesses, consumers, and the country as a whole billions and billions of rands. According to preliminary reports compiled by NetJoins, extensive damage has been caused to about 161 malls and shopping centers, 11 warehouses, 8 factories, and 161 liquor outlets and distributors. This does not include the damage caused to the roads and other infrastructure. Fellow South Africans, as this government, we must acknowledge that we were poorly prepared for an orchestrated campaign of public violence, destruction, and sabotage of this nature. While we commend the brave actions of our security forces on the ground, we must admit that we did not have the capabilities and the plans in place as this happened to respond swiftly and decisively. Our police were faced with a difficult situation and exercised commendable restraint to prevent any loss of life or further escalation. However, once additional security personnel were deployed, they were able to quickly restore calm to most areas that were affected. Once this crisis has passed, we will undertake a thorough and critical review of our preparedness and response to incidents such as these. For now, our priorities are, firstly, to stabilize the country, secondly, to secure essential supplies and infrastructure, thirdly, to provide relief and support recovery and rebuilding, fourthly, to encourage the active efforts of citizens in defense of their lives, livelihoods, and democracy. To stabilize the country, we have massively increased the numbers of law enforcement and security personnel on the ground in Gauteng and KwaZulu-Natal. And we are also spreading them around to other parts of the country. I have authorized the deployment of 25,000 members of the South African National Defence Force, led by General Mapwanya, to support the work of the police. Of these, 10,000 are now on the ground, while the remaining forces are arriving in their respective areas of deployment over the course of this weekend. Steady progress is being made to secure our logistics infrastructure. The N3 freeway, which faced enormous challenges and difficulties between eThekwini and Gauteng, has been reopened, and security forces are in place to keep vital supply routes open. The security forces are working with business to ensure the safe transport of fuel, food, oxygen, pharmaceuticals, chemicals, and other critical supplies. Operations at the ports of Durban and Richards Bay are being restored to enable the resumption of exports and imports. Regulations have been issued in terms of the Competition Act to enable firms involved in the supply of essential goods to share information about the availability and demand for certain goods. This is to help prevent shortages of essential goods and promote the equitable distribution of scarce essential goods across the country. These measures will ensure that supply chains remain intact. I want to emphasize that there is no shortage of food or supplies in most parts of the country, and there is therefore no need to go on panic buying, because doing so will only worsen the situation. In addition to supporting the police in maintaining order, South African National Defence Force members have been deployed to key installations to protect them and commercial sites that are vital to the functioning of the economy and the uninterrupted provision of services to our citizens. Specialized units of our law enforcement agencies are working round the clock to locate and apprehend those responsible for planning and coordinating this violence. We will spare no effort in bringing those individuals to justice. I want to repeat, we will spare no effort in bringing those individuals to justice. My instruction to the Commissioner of Police and his officers is very clear on this. There have been calls from several quarters for the declaration of a state of emergency to contain this violence and destruction. These calls are understandable given the levels and extent of disorder. Our view, and my view, has been that a state of emergency should only be declared when all other means of stabilizing the situation in our country has shown to be inadequate. A state of emergency would allow a drastic limitation of the basic rights contained in our Constitution, which no responsible government would want to do unless it was absolutely necessary. For now, it is our firm view that the deployment of our security forces, working together with communities and social partners across the country, will be able to restore order and prevent further violence. We will extinguish the fires that are raging, and we will stamp out every last ember of this fire. We will identify and act against those who lit the flame, and those who spread it, and those who are still attempting to spread it. We will find those who have instigated this violence. They will be held accountable for their deeds. Because we will not allow anyone in our country to destabilize the country and to get away with it. And we will not allow any person or any group, whoever they are, to challenge the authority of our democratically elected government. Because this is in the end a challenge to the people of South Africa. While our security forces are steadily establishing control on the ground, the effects of this violence will be felt by all South Africans in the days and weeks and months to come. I met a number of business leaders during my visit in KwaZulu-Natal, together with the Premier, Minister of Police, the Minister of Defense, and the Minister of State Security. And the business people told me that it will take them a few months to restore their businesses. The damage that has been done to vital economic infrastructure will, as they told me, take time to repair. This in turn will have an impact on the availability of food, fuel, medicine, and other supplies, not only in South Africa, but across the region. The violence and destruction has done enormous damage to our economy at a time when we are struggling to recover from the impact of the coronavirus pandemic. It has destroyed businesses and will undoubtedly lead to further job losses. Ultimately, it will also deepen poverty and cause even greater hardship to millions of South Africans. The widespread looting of the past week is likely to fuel a further increase in COVID-19 infections. These events have also disrupted our COVID-19 vaccination program in KwaZulu-Natal and Gauteng, just as it was beginning to gain momentum. Now it is imperative that we should take further steps to provide support to households and to help businesses to restock and to rebuild. We're in the process of providing immediate food relief to households. Earlier, I received a call from Prince Mangosuthu Buthelezi, who was telling me about the situation in Ulundi. And we immediately promised him that we will be taking steps to ensure that the people who were lining up in Ulundi after the destruction of shops in Eshowe and other areas nearby had resulted in the shortage of food, and they were now lining up in Ulundi. We are attending to this even tonight as we speak. We are targeting areas affected by the looting and where people have no access to food. Provincial departments of social development and SASSA will use their remaining budget in the social relief of disaster program to provide support in the form of food parcels, cash, and food vouchers. We're working hard to bring all SASSA offices into operation again. Cash points are expected to resume services from the 19th of July in all areas that have been declared safe to operate. To assist with the immediate needs of affected communities, the Solidarity Fund has established a humanitarian crisis relief. Mrs. Gloria Sirobe informed me, as chair of that fund, that they aim to assist those in greatest need at this time. We are calling on all South Africans to support this fund. We appreciate the support of the many companies, the organizations, and faith-based groups that have already started providing support to families in distress. Social partners have been meeting to discuss a range of measures which can be implemented to provide immediate relief within our fiscal means. This includes the provision of emergency food relief and other assistance to those in greatest distress. We will also help our small businesses, including those in townships and rural areas, to heal the damage they have suffered. Our business people provide important goods and services in our communities, and we will help them to rebuild their businesses. A team in the Presidency and the National Treasury, as well as those who are leading the economic cluster in government, are hard at work to develop a comprehensive support package for Cabinet's consideration. We will be in a position to make a further announcement in this regard soon. In the short term, it is essential that we get the vaccination program back on track as soon as possible, and no effort will be spared in that regard, as we are now in a position to have more vaccines available so that this program can speed up. My fellow South Africans, while calm has returned to most of Gauteng and KwaZulu-Natal, the threat to our country and to our democracy remains present and real. Those responsible for organizing this campaign of violence and destruction have not all yet been apprehended, and their networks have not yet been dismantled. But we know who they are, and the police are on their tracks, and they've already identified them. We must therefore remain vigilant and resist any efforts to incite further violence. We welcome the unwavering support from religious, traditional, political, party, labor, and business leaders, many of whom I met during the course of this week. We applaud those individuals, organizations, and communities that have taken the initiative through peaceful means to restore calm and protect lives and property and infrastructure. We thank all those people who have remained at their posts under difficult and dangerous conditions, providing services to our people and our nation, the law enforcement personnel, health workers, social workers, security personnel, municipal employees, and many other frontline public servants. We also thank the journalists of our country who have been reporting on these events and bringing the news to South Africans as they've been unfolding, helping to ensure that South Africans are informed and empowered. And I've watched many of them getting into very dangerous situations so that we may all be informed. We call on communities across the country to work with the police through community policing forums. We have found that these policing forums work extremely well, particularly at a time like this. And many of them have been functioning to good effect. No person should take the law into their own hands. We must guard against vigilantism and anything that could inflame tensions, racial or otherwise, further. We call on all South Africans to encourage calm and restraint, to desist from sharing false information, and to report any incidents of violence to the police immediately. Any incidents of people who seek to loot or to disturb the peace. By doing these basic things, we can all work together to protect our country. This coming Sunday, South Africans will join people across the world in celebrating Nelson Mandela Day. As we reaffirm our commitment to our democracy and remembering the father of our nation, Nelson Mandela, let us use Mandela Day to provide food to the most vulnerable in our society, to clean up our streets, and to start the task of rebuilding. My wish is that this cleaning up campaign that has been sparked off by cleaning up the mess of this violent week can become a continuous process in our country where we all work together to clean up our country so that we can emulate other countries, even on our continent, that have clean streets, where people work together on set days of the month, of the week, to clean up their neighborhoods, to clean up their country. This is a moment that I would want us to use to begin this culture of cleaning up the areas where we live. While security forces are essential to restoring order and stability, this assault on our democracy will ultimately fail because the people of South Africa will not allow it. If we stand together, no insurrection or violence in this country will succeed. We are engaged in a struggle to defend our democracy, to defend our constitution, to defend our livelihoods and our safety. This is not a battle that we can afford to lose. When we look back on this moment in our history, let us say that we faced down a grave threat and defeated it. Let us bear witness to the strength and the endurance of our democracy, not its downfall. Let us speak of the triumph of our Constitution, not its destruction. We will never allow this great project of humanity that is so lauded and praised all over the world, our South African democracy, to fail. Lastly, I wish to pass condolences to some South Africans who have passed away in the recent past few days. Inkosi Mahlangu, the chairperson of the National House of Traditional Leaders, passed away. Tsepo Chola, one of our most outstanding artists. Dr. Ben Ngubane, former KwaZulu-Natal Premier. Aubrey Mokoena, who was the head of the Release Mandela campaign and a former MP, passed away. Kehla Mthembu, a leading businessman and a friend. Dr. Sam Gulube, the former Secretary of Defense, just recently retired. Jeff Makubu, Mayor of Johannesburg. Dr. Vengard Mkhosana, the former Director General of Labour, Michael Zuma, the younger brother of former President Jacob Zuma. We pass our condolences to their families, and may they all rest in peace. May God bless South Africa and continue to protect her people. I thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President. Now we know what's going on in our country. And it's, I also do pass on my condolences to the families of the deceased. And not just those that our president spoke of, but the others that passed on of COVID, that passed on when they were busy looting, that part. It's lives at the end of the day, and it's not nice to see. I mean, yesterday I've seen while they're busy recording. Oh, sorry, hang on. As they were busy reporting, the coroner collected the deceased on the roadside. So that's not nice to see as well. And for our my colleagues, the journalists, you guys had very long hours, and thank you for reporting on that as well. So from my side as well, thank you so much for tuning into Project CB. I know that Rayleigh and Charles, they are watching, Elane is watching, and there's others as well. I don't know exactly who you are at this moment, but you can always give me a live chat quickly so that I can give a shout out to you as well. So you would see that there's a previous live video. Please go and watch it. It was actually awesome how the people just came together and worshiped the King of Kings. So that's the video just before this one that came out. We've live broadcasted from Three Rivers. But from my side, oh yes, you know what is nice now that I'm thinking of it is that while I was at Three Rivers, there's the mall and then there's the hospital. And I was looking at the mall and thinking, Lord, thank you so much for protecting this mall as well. So, and the community. So thank you to the community and to everyone who protected the infrastructures as well. So, that's just a little bit from my side as well. So thank you so much for watching Project CB. Please do subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Thank you so much yet again for your support. It's much appreciated. Until we meet up again, I can't even say whether it's next week because I don't know. At this point, I don't know. So thank you so much for watching. Until we meet up again very soon, please do subscribe and please tell your friends and family about